Hey, what's up everyone? In today's lesson, we're going to learn how to create checkpoints, respawn the player, and basically how you can adapt that to multiple different game types. And so what's going to basically be the results of this: you jump off, you die, you respawn. Pretty clever, huh? This guy's, I think this guy's pretty lucky. He can just jump off the edge and never go away. Maybe he hates it. I haven't really got the time to ask him. But if you go and get this checkpoint, now you can spawn next to the other lamp, which also acts as a checkpoint item. You notice it says update checkpoint in the top left corner. And that just lets the player know that you're going to respawn back there. You jump off one more time, and you can see that he now spawns at a random location because he already used that respawn point. And so, let's get started. So what we want to create first is the blueprint interface. And this will be respawn interface. Now this could easily be checkpoint interface, whatever you feel comfortable with. So let me snap this on here. And we're going to create two functions: get checkpoint and set checkpoint. Now the reason we're creating this interface is simply to allow the checkpoint items to update the player itself. Since there's no way to directly access the variables within it, we have to create this interface. And so first variable we want to call is update, and that basically tells the player to update its as checkpoint, or if you leave it false, it will actually reset that, but we'll get to that later. And then the output will be updated, and that's it. Save. Now we want to get checkpoint, and create two of those. And we want to get transform, and it would be bool for the last one. And so it would be location. And next will be have location. And these are just simple security checks, make it a little easier when you're coding. And that's it. So let's go to example. And next thing we want to do is create a new character class. And so I have a character already made just for this tutorial. And this is simply a copy of the my character one by default. Just renamed it, that's all. And so here you can see a little double jump. It's pretty clever. Now what we want to do in this is, first we want to come in and go to blueprint properties. And remember that interface? We're going to add that interface now. And that will allow us access to these two checkpoints. And now, I know some people have probably tried adding interface functions and wondered why nothing has come through. And the trick is you have to have outputs or it will not return anything. And so always have outputs. And that's why you notice some functions will just have the is a function or just something real simple to make sure that it can output. And I don't have an exact reason for that. It's just what it is. And so we have these two functions, and now we want to actually create these two functions. We want to make them actually interact with the character. And so let's do that by one, we have to create the transform, which is basically the last checkpoint. Let me draw this down a little bit. And we want to make that transform. And you want to get another one, call it player pawn. Since the player pawn will be changing, we want to just have our own way of keeping track of what it is at the moment. And so now you want to also create last spawn. And this is more of a referencing thing. I'll show you later. All right, that'll be it. So now we're back in set checkpoint. The first thing we want to create is a branch. And this branch will basically tell it if it needs to update or reset it. So you want to get here, get this last checkpoint, and if they don't want to update it, we want to reset it to 0 so that they can't spawn there anymore. I'm going to do set checkpoint again. Since they do want to update it, we want to get transform. Just pull this a little forward. Let's put that right there. And then we will have these both routed to the output. And the simple check we want to do is break transform. And we do vector equal. So we want to make sure the vector does not equal 0. If it does equal 0, then there's a problem. And that's it. And so we want to just make sure that we add this variable. I mean, there's these two nodes to check if the spawn has been set, so that when you're doing set checkpoint, you can easily check for yourself after this node has executed if it has been set or if it has not been set. And now we want to do get checkpoint, which is pretty straightforward. When you get the last checkpoint, just toss it on there. And then we want to pull this back, break, transform again. Do vector not equal, and put that have location. And that's it. All right, save that. That'll be it for that. And now the function that we want to create to actually spawn the player. Spawn player. And the inputs and outs that we want to do on that. Create 3. First one will be class. Second one will be transform. Last one will be random. So first one will be class, and this will be an actor class. Scroll down here. Class. Next will be transform. And last is random. And so first thing we want to do is I'm going to create a branch. And the branch is going to check that the transform is available, because you can spawn a player without the need of a transform. And that's what I was talking about. You can either have a checkpoint or not have a checkpoint. It will just spawn and repossess the player for you. And that's more commonly used in FPS games and things of that nature. And the next thing we would like to create is, say there, since this is a more intricate part of it, say there isn't any spawns. We want to do get all actors of class, and we want to do player start. And that's the reason we needed this last spawn right here. And then we have to do one other check, which is if branch, and say they did want it random, you have to check for that. So random. Let's do. We have to do a railing. And then we'll pull from here. Put that on the length. We'll do random integer. That look close. And then we'll put get array. And so that'll get the length, randomize it, then get the array item. That'll get the length of the array, randomize it, and then get that item from the actors. So let's do cast, 2-player start. And now we can take this false, and this true right here. We can go to last spawn, set. And the nice thing about cast is, say it doesn't cast, or it won't execute. And now the next one we want to do is, say they don't want it random and they want to grab the first spawn. And now there's different procedures you can do on this so that maybe you won't get the last spawn used by another player. And that way you don't have people all spawning on the same spot. But for today, I'm just going to show you something a little basic that help you get into that position. So cast player start. It doesn't want to show up. Okay. So let's grab from here. Make sure you hook that on. Cast player start. And then loop body. I want to put that in there. Another thing we're going to do is set last spawn. And you want to pull this from that player start. And then the nice thing about this again is, if the cast doesn't work, meaning it's not valid, it won't set the last spawn. But if it does, let's break and get out of the loop. And that's just a check you can do, like, oh, if the player was recently spawned here, let's skip that. And so the next thing you need now, last spawn. I'm going to do get actor transform. And we want to do spawn actor from class. And let's scoot these up a little bit. You see where it says last spawn? We can pull that here now. And where it says completed, we can also pull that here. And so now that's basically the end for that. We can do cast. Actually, let's go back to the beginning and see where it says class. We want to pull this all the way down here and set that to class. You want to get this, and you want to do cast to pawn, because this is the new pawn that you just created using spawn actor class. And we want to set player pawn. Next we want to do is spawn default controller. And last but not least, possess. Because this guy's a maniac. A maniac. I don't know where the hell that just came from. Just drag that there. And that basically tells this default controller to take control of this pawn now. So let's do get controller. Get player controller. Possess. Tack that to the end, and this will be the last function called in this process. And so now that's simply the random function, and luckily that's the hardest part of it. Next is really easy, because all you have to do is skip past all this garbage and do spawn actor. And I guess we might as well hook up these two. Again, see where it says transform now? It's not 0, so let's just throw that on there. And let's grab the class. Throw that on there. And where it says true, it is true. And that's it. Now, we want to cast pawn. Next, we wanted to set the player pawn. You drag that on there. Let's move this up and just skip that whole step entirely. There we go. All done. All right, compete. And let's save that out. So now you have this massive function that's just hidden away in its own tab. And so now you want to create. Now you want to use this function in your own way. So let's do event destroyed spawn player. I mean, I wish this function just already existed. That'd be pretty nice. You know, just bam, bam, over. World's done. I can go to sleep now. And let's get the last checkpoint. Throw that on there. And this is something you could set yourself. And so we want to do to character. And yeah, we can just have random. That'd be nice. Let's scoot this up a little bit. Let's see. Respawn player. And one last and final thing we have to do is do set player pawn. This right here. And we want to do get player pawn. From the index. And this is right when it starts the game, and set that. And that way we just have that. Not set to none. And actually, let's go to, I have no idea why it does this. See all these duplicates? Anyway, let's go to my game. I'm going to test toot character, and it has all the information we need. And so okay, so now that all that functionality is created, you can actually go in game and jump off the cliff. And it'll respawn. But you might notice one thing. If we try to get these checkpoint items, nothing happens. It's so weird. And that's because we have not set up the respawn points. And so to do that simply, I want the props. For you, let's do, what is this? That's weird. Let's do, this box. Let's say it's a door frame. I mean, that makes total sense, right? Door frame. It's not even, oh, it's a window. Okay. So yeah, door frame. This guy's, fits just enough in there. Alright. So say we have this door frame. Let's go here, right click, create blueprint using. I'm going to call this gateway checkpoint. And you're probably not going to want to use the door frame, but I'm just using it for this example. So first, you want to create a begin overlap, and then cast this to the player that we made, which is the toot character, and then from there we're going to set the last checkpoint, and we simply access this through the respawn interface that we created. And so pick from there, and you want to pick the character to the target. And I'm going to click update. And remember, by setting that false, you can actually reset the player checkpoint. So say they finish the game, or it expires after a certain amount of time, you can do that. And so now we wanted to destroy the actor, and that's it. At least for this tutorial. You can always use update it to do any further checks for your blueprint. And so let's get in game and see how this works. We should now, actually, we forgot to put the doorway in the game. I don't know how that was going to work, but let's anyway, let's put another one over here, and let's check it out and give it a little more variety. So we go to the first checkpoint. Oh, right, collision. So let's go back to the gateway checkpoint, and we're gonna want to make this overlap all instead of block all. Save that. I'm gonna go back in game. All right, so this is totally gonna work this time. All right, it did. Cool. So let's jump off and let's see what happens. We're back at that door spawn. It's a gateway back to the real world, where real people are. This is all real life, right? And see, you spawn back where the door was. So say we jump off again, you're gonna see that since there's no checkpoint, it's just gonna find the player start locations, which I only have 2 on the left and right, and they spawn there. And yeah, that's it. I hope this helped. You can adapt this to like FPS games or RPGs or side scrollers, whatever. Whatever fits your needs. This is simply, I guess, a practice that you can apply whatever you want. And if you have any better solutions or suggestions, questions, anything, please let me know. And so I want to show you guys one more thing, show you what I've been working on. And so let's save that, let's go back in game. And you can see my character can double jump. And that was that little double jump comment section that I showed you. But I also can wall jump. And so I found this bug in it, and I'll fix it later, but you see that my guy just you can just, oh shit. He turns immediately to the direction that he's supposed to bounce off from. So say if you're running at a certain angle, obviously you want to turn 90 degrees the opposite of the angle that you're going. And so yeah, you can bounce off walls. It's pretty clever. Once the jump animation is there, we show him jumping off the wall. It'd be kind of cool. All right. So I just want to show you guys that, and peace. Hey, thanks for watching my tutorial. I'll be uploading more every week. So be sure to subscribe, and peace.